So next question is, which elements need to be present for you to spend more than a few seconds on a record?
Let's see. I see a lot of people coming back in, I guess. Okay.
In it.
Say what?
They're in it. They can't be.
Okay. What's the question again?
Which elements, whether visual or need to be present for you to spend more than a few seconds on a record?
Okay. Let's see. But the way it's recorded, a lot of times, like if it's a bad recording, I mean, I'll try to go through it real quick to just see if it's something on it that I can rock with. But usually, if it's recorded really well and it just sounds really good when I start, I'm gonna put more time into that record because the sounds, it's a good chance if I do find a break or open drums or something, I know it's gonna be EQ'd and mixed really well. So I put a lot of time into that. If I see that it's like a couple of songs on one side, I know it's long songs, so it's a good chance it's gonna be something in there. You know, it might be a solo or whatever. What else? You know, the grooves in the record. If it's grooves and it's probably, it's a solo or a break, a drum break. I put more time into that. Or if I hear, a certain sound, or I hear a certain effect on a keyboard, then I'm gonna put time in because I'm gonna try to find anywhere that sound might be open. You know what I mean? That's just a few of the things.
Does cover art ever do anything for you?
Well, yeah, definitely cover art. Which a lot of times cover art will set you up to spend some money, and the record be whack. But cover art always was one of the things that was one of the things that got you going when you're early digging. You got to start out with something, but cover art, where it was mixed, where it was recorded, the players on the record, the musicians on the record. You see a guy that you like, or see a guy that you know is usually dope. Whenever you see his name, what producers, all of that. You know what I'm saying? When you see these different producers, you're gonna always pick that record up by them. All the things that the diggers, everybody, kind of live by.
There are genres that you spend more time on than others?
I've always been a jazz guy, but I like soul. I like heavy soul, and I love gospel. Gospel, people that know me from back in the day, I've been a heavy gospel dude since the early 90s. I got lucky. Them flea markets I used to say, that I was saying I go to, I got lucky and ran out of stuff to go through in all the other all the other genres, the jazz, the soul, the rock. I had been through so many times. He hadn't got nothing new. I went under the little tablecloths he had on his tables, and it was all these boxes. And I'm like, yo, so what are these? He said, oh, that's spiritual Christian music. You probably don't want to go through them. And I'm like, well, I mean, you never know. I said, is it cool if I look through them? And so I started looking through them, and I got lucky. The first two boxes, I found breaks and the craziest bass lines and joints, and it was all gospel. But to be honest, if them first 2 or 3 boxes didn't have nothing in them, I probably wouldn't even rock with gospel like that. But because they were I found records that was so dope. Then I was hooked. So, I was looking, and so I had years and years and years of digging through gospel, finding gospel when nobody of where I was even caring about it. You know what I'm saying? So I found a lot of the big records that ended up being expensive gospel records. I had copies. I had 1, 2, 3 copies of them because nobody cared. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always jazz, always soul, gospel. I love like soundtracks, because they're always interesting. You get interesting sounds, and I like miscellaneous. I like weird stuff. So I like electronic stuff. I like, things just weird synths, and so anything that's gonna be to the left or some in a miscellaneous or whatever, I'm always rocking with that too.
Like an acid jazz.
Anything that's to the left, I'm rocking with it because I'm always looking for new sounds.
Why is sample selection so important, in your opinion?
When you say sample selection, what exactly do you mean?
So if you're putting a couple or a handful of samples in front of someone, like you were saying earlier, like you could give someone a sample and they could totally fuck up what they do with it.
Okay, so why is that just important?
Why is it so important, like, that they choose the right places?
Well, well, obviously, I guess it's gonna make for a better beat, but I think sample selection is always key. I mean, you got some guys that are just extremely creative, so you put any kind of record in front of them, they're gonna make something crazy out of it. Premier has always been crazy with that, and then Knots now he's crazy with that. He just hears some things from from another planet. But when you give somebody something that's a lot of meat on the bones, they're gonna usually probably make something crazier. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the guys I rock with, they uber talented. So you give them something that's crazy, they happy, like, ooh, that's what I needed. Gee, that's it. I needed that for inspiration. Now, I could just turn this into the craziest thing you ever heard. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that they get in something that's gonna get they juices flowing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then, and learning a producer's sound too, being able to know what each person that I'm rocking with, what they like.
Yeah.
Because I need to get in and out. I don't need to spend 5 hours with somebody that I could spend an hour with if I'm on point, if I've done my work. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of get to know what they like, or I listen to stuff that they've been into or things that they've done in the past. And then, I try to just kind of, just put a sound together that I think will fit this producer. And most times I'm right.
Yeah.
And, the sound is important because, it's gonna make for better beats. It's gonna make for better songs. The better the beat, usually if the artist is dope, the lyricist is dope, they can probably write something crazier. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what it is.
Yeah. So Jazzy Jeff said, it's cool to go on the road and play records. It's amazing to take a record connoisseur you like. How would you compare his selection to others you've worked with? Jeff's records or his selection in terms of
either one's fine.
Even his style, you could do any kind of comparison to
Jeff is just he's just the purest heart that you can meet. You know what I'm saying? He's just such a great guy. And the way he does, Jeff's a perfectionist. So that's why it's very rare that you're gonna hear Jeff make a mistake when he's DJing, because he's he takes things that serious. He's that particular with what he does, and he's the same way with his beats and his sample selection. He knows what he wants, and he's particular about the sound. And then when you hear it, it's just like this. Everything is just like chopped and placed. And he's a scientist too. So like Ableton and all these programs. Jeff is that guy. And so he's just very, I'd say, it's just thoughtful with everything that he does, and it resonates. I think because of the place it comes from within him, and everybody else feels that energy and that vibration. So, he's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's the professor.
What was the best part about accompanying him and DJ Scratch on Vinyl Destination 45 tour?
Man, listen. That tour, it was we learned a lot. It the guys that were on the tour, everybody, ended up being more like brothers. We got close because you run into obstacles, and it may be this today, this tomorrow, that, but everybody would work together to come up with a solution. Mm-hmm. And keep everything smooth. It'd be flawless. Nobody would even know that we had any kind of issue. So the brotherhood on the tour was extremely dope. And then of course, going to all them cities and hitting them record spots. I was an animal. I wasn't playing. So I went to every spot I could when we had time. And, just shout out to everybody on the tour for working with me. Because when we got to them cities, I was like, okay, yeah, we got to get to the hotel, but I got to get to the record.
I got to disappear right now.
Yeah, my man Steve, Code Red, that was kind of like the road manager, the tour manager. He would rock with me to a lot of spots and make sure I was good. And shout out to Steve. It was, it was classic. I'll never forget it. Hopefully we'll get to do it again, but under the circumstances, we'll see. I'm positive though. I think positively. So we'll figure this out. Yeah, we're gonna figure this out.
Gene, are you able to share a few names off your current client list? Do you have any clients who buy from you exclusively?
Well, believe it or not, on the exclusive side, with J. Cole. J. Cole, one of my main dudes, his biggest customers. I've been rocking with him for a couple years now. So yeah, we have something worked out where he rocks with me exclusively. Let me see who else really rocks with me hard. Static Selector. Nice. Static been rocking with me hard for a while, for some years and years now, actually. But Static, Young RJ from Slum Village. Okay. A lot of people probably wouldn't know that. Questlove, always. That's what I mean. He always rocking with me. Vanderslice, consistent. My cousin Karl Marx, always gonna be consistent. Mm-hmm. Who else? It'd be somebody that my man Kilo, which is he was one of the original guys that was a producer with the Roots from the beginning. Okay. Kilo actually produced Clones and Concerto de Desperado and among others. Mm-hmm. But Key is one of my closest homies. Over the years, and he's always around. And Rich Medina always rocking with me. Mm-hmm. Nonstop. That ain't gonna never change either. That's my brother. So it's a few guys that's always rocking with me consistently. Nice. Without a doubt, among others. It's just some of the other guys I'm not around often, mm-hmm. but when I am around, They always rocking with. If I'm in their town, they all, they rocking with me.
Mm-hmm.
Super Dave too, Dave West, always rocking with me. It ain't no question. You know what I'm saying? If I got it and he got it, he rocking with me. So.
So what have you done differently since the pandemic began to maintain your relationships with customers and record dealers across the country?
Let's see. Well, doing waves. I end up, recording a lot of albums into the computer and selling wave files.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys ended up wanting to have MP3s and waves, because you can't really really do albums as much. So getting that wave business popping a little more, and then just staying in touch with people, talking to people, checking on them, they checking on me. So when things do open back up, the relationship and we still good.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Doing a lot of stuff like private dealers that sell records too. I sell records to a lot of them guys too. They got stores, they have websites, or they sell on eBay, Discogs, whatever. They be needing new stock. They come holler at me, and I get with them. So they've been coming through because a lot of stores were closed.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people weren't getting new records in. So they hit me, and I make sure we safe or whatever, and they rock with me. So I had a lot of appointments of people coming to see me like that, and so I kind of kept it going, stayed afloat. And I had some contracts with some people that I had set in place that I was doing monthly things where I was hitting them off, and that didn't stop because that was WAV files and MP3, so those were always in place whether it's a pandemic or not. So yeah, it was good.
And what have you been listening to in the last few months?
Oh wow. Let's see. I mean, honestly, because of the pandemic, I've been having to just go so hard recording stuff in that I've just been, listening to various old records that I got, stored, and I'm going to my warehouse, going to storage, going through stuff, bringing it home. So, a lot of gospel stuff, a lot of Brazilian. I like a lot of Brazilian stuff. So the Cesar Mariano and CIA record, I listened to that, a lot. I've been listening to Gershon King combo record. What other Brazilian stuff? What else? A lot of 45s. It's raw soul 45s. 45 thing ended up being very popular. So a lot of that stuff. What else? New groups. I was listening to Dinner Party, the new thing that Knife, Robert Glasper, Terrace Martin, Kamasi Washington's project. And then, I always go back to Voodoo and I mean that's gonna be one of my favorite albums ever, Voodoo and even the last D'Angelo record. I started, and then also I ain't gonna front, the last few days, unfortunately, I've just been listening to Do You Want More, Philadelphia, Half-Life, Things Fall Apart, because unfortunately Malik B passed away. So, in support and tribute to him and those guys, I was heavy on the Roots joints that he was on. the past few days, but let me think. Always Griselda. I like what those guys are doing. So, you know, West Side Gun, Benny, Conway, anything related to that, I was rocking with that. Alchemist joints that he, you know, was producing, the various projects, Mad Lib joints. Something else I was listening to. How you say their name? Kruangbin, that group. They crazy. They from Houston, Texas, but if you see them, new group, yeah, new group, new group. They did the Christmas joint that it was Christmas time. I think it was Christmas time is here. The Charlie Brown record. They did their version. It's a real hit version. You remember hearing that around Christmas time? Well, Kruangbin, I think is how you say their name, but
yeah.
Their album is crazy. I was listening to them. It's their trio, but they crazy. They so dope. Salt, you know Salt? You hit the Salt?
Cosmo Baker.
Okay, Cosmo Baker. Salt is crazy. And we listening to Salt. And what else? Salt, Kruangbin. Mac DeMarco. You familiar with Mac DeMarco? So yeah, Mac DeMarco. I be listening to Mac DeMarco because my daughter's 13, but she ain't no joke. She's no joke.
So you're doing for her what your parents did for you?
Man, she be hipping me to stuff. So she hit me to Mac DeMarco. You know, she be having her stuff that she listened to, and she be on point. So listen to some of the Mac DeMarco stuff, and then being so closely linked with my playlist family from the retreat. Right. So they always got stuff in the chat or whatever that that they be putting. I mean, these dudes are superheroes, man. They ain't no joke. So if it ain't Kaidi from the UK, Kaidi Tatum, Daniel Crawford to do a remix, or he have a project. Lord Finesse's Motown project that's coming out. The remixes he did is bonkers. Who else? Bus Crates, Ian, my man Ian Wallace, and OP from Serato. They doing remixes. Terry Hunter, he do remixes and joints, from playlists. And then TBG, Tall Black, they all always doing stuff. So it's kind of like we spoiled, you know what I'm saying, from playlists. It's just so many talented people that's ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? And then I mean it's so yeah, you never know what I might be listening to. But that's kind of what I've listened to over the course of the pandemic. I don't know if I'm forgetting it, but 14 KT. Problem. The record that he did, man, the record that he did, it's crazy. So I'll be listening to the KT joints, and just and then a lot of my friends, they lives that, when you be tuning into their lives. So Rich have a live, and Rich playing stuff that even be stuff that I ain't heard, and be little. So I be listening to other DJs and what they playing, and it might be artists I ain't even hip to. Then listening to Static Show on Shade 45 on Thursday, and then Premier Show, and Premier playing just ignorant stuff. It's stuff that he produced, but it ain't out yet. It ain't out yet. And then you try to Shazam it, and then nothing come up. You're like, damn, this is exclusive shit. But it'd be crazy joints, And I hate when I end up naming stuff, because it'd be stuff that I really know that I listen to that I can't think. Oh, I know. My man on Instagram, Count Cole.
Okay.
he does these things where he layers these beats. Like he'll start off with a drum or start off with a piece of percussion, and then he keeps layering it throughout the video. So you see him playing each part that he records. He's a problem. Count Cole with a K. The Count is with a K and Cole is with a K. He's a monster. He's a monster. Yeah, I see my man for Vibes and Stuff, Record Shop. Yeah, Obliv from the VA and Twami. Yep, I'm hip to him, my man. Yeah, Obliv and Twami, they both real dope producers too. Twami down in Atlanta. And my man, and Yamin that you had the interview live with. That's my homie from when he was a kid. I've been knowing him for, I don't know, it might be like 15 to 18 years when he was, like a teenager. And he's evolved into who he's become. He's no joke. He's ridiculous.
He's fantastic.
Ridiculously talented. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a lot of people out here, man. It's plenty of music. For people to think it ain't out here, it's out here. You just, you gotta find it. But it's here. It may be even more than it used to be. It's out here. It's people really doing their thing. Really doing their thing. And a lot of people behind the scenes doing their thing. Like my man Rashad Smith. You remember Rashad Smith? Tumbling Dice. Rashad always got something that he cooking. He always doing something behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? And he always working on things. He worked with Erica Badu. He's in her group. And then they got their little spin-offs that he doing. You know what I'm saying? And then and my man I can't forget it just came and went. Kemet, my Kemet, DJ Kemet in Atlanta. Kemet always doing joints. That's my man too, from like, he been buying records from me probably the longest out of most of the people here since like 95.
Wow.
And Kemet was in Arrested Development.
No shit. Okay.
No shit. Him and Speech grew up together as kids in Milwaukee. So he started in a group with Speech. Then they split up and went to college. I think Speech went to school in Atlanta and Kemet went to Howard in DC. And then when Kemet got out of school, he came back to Atlanta, moved to Atlanta, and joined Arrested Development after the first year or so that they was rocking. So Kemet is always rocking with me, and I'm always listening to, the remixes that he might do. And then my man Ginsu Dean in Texas. Ginsu, always listening to whatever Ginsu is doing, the projects that he has come out, they always solid. And then my man Sky Zoo. Sky is, believe it or not, one of my biggest customers. Anytime he see me, Sky he's serious about his vinyl. He's been buying vinyl from me for years. He's serious about his jazz. He's a jazz connoisseur. Yeah. Like, for real. So, it's a lot of them, man.
He just did a Show Off Your Gems episode, I think.
Oh, yeah?
The D-Stray.
Okay, for sure.
But I'm going to have to check out the DJ Kemet because the Arrested Development CD was one of the first I ever bought when I was like 12 or 13.
Yeah, Kemet ain't no joke. He's slept on because he's such a dope DJ. People don't realize that he produces like he produces. He's done songs that have, been very successful. Yeah, he's done a lot of production over the years. Oh, also, Mike City. I don't know if a lot of people remember Mike, but Mike produced. Mike went to so North Carolina Central. We went to college in Durham. Mike City produced "I Wish" for Carl Thomas, which was one of the biggest songs he produced. Now he produced and wrote these songs, so he did the music and wrote the lyrics. Okay. So "I Wish" for Carl Thomas, "One Woman Man" for Dave Hollister. Jimmy Cozier, She's All I Got, Sunshine Anderson, Heard It All
Oh
Before.
my God, one of my favorite songs.
He wrote and produced all these songs. We were all in college at the same time. So Mike City, Ninth Wonder, the rest of Little Brother, Fonte and Pooh, Sunshine, and we all in school. Yazara, we all in college at the same time. So Mike did yeah, Slim Cat is in here. My man Slim, in DC. He just reminded me of a joint he did for Bilal. Love It on that first Bilal. So Mike produced and wrote that. I mean, he did so many, but Mike is doing a lot of like house kind of stuff now behind the scenes. So actually, he worked with Kemet too. But yeah, Mike, he's been posting a lot of his stuff that he's doing on IG and on Facebook. So I definitely been watching a lot of his stuff and listening, because he's a master. He reminds you of Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway type stuff. And I can't forget my man Eric Roberson. Eric Roberson. Anything Eric does, I'm on it. He another one from playlist, but Eric is another one. He gets joints from me, records. Eric been producing a lot of his joints too, and he been getting joints from me and using samples, making his beats, doing his thing. So Eric is on point too, and he got new music, and I've been watching him on IG.
I was gonna say he's one of my favorite IG accounts.
He's killing it. He's killing it. Eric Roberson, is that dude too. So it's a lot of people doing their thing.
Nice. So Gina, on a more sensitive kind of personal tip, can I ask how you feel about the lack of response from our government on the heinous acts of violence against Black people continually appearing in the media?
It's just fucking ridiculous, man. But it's nothing new. It's nothing new. We deal with this. We've been dealing with this. We deal with this all the time. They fuck with me my whole high school life. I mean, I had a Mercedes in high school, and they would follow me home on a regular basis at night. It's just ridiculous. I got stopped so many times with records in the van because they stopped me because I'm looking suspicious in the white van, and I'm on the turnpike, and they pull me over and want to pull all the records out because they think I'm doing something different. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. But really, the government, and it ain't in the government's best interest to really do anything about what's happening to us. And I'm gonna just say it. Really, it's really in their best interest to not say anything, because who they rocking with and who's gonna keep them in office, it's the opposite side. So, they can't be too vocal, and they can't, you can't really be too visually, you can't seem like or look like you really putting too much effort into our cause, because we ain't the people that's supporting you, and we ain't the people that want you in there. So you gotta, I was gonna say straddle the fence. They don't even straddle the fence. They just on one side. You know what I'm saying? and that is what it is. And I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna just let that be. But we all seeing it. We living through this time. It's gonna be in the history books. You just keep your family strong, teach your kids so they know what's up, and just be prepared. That's what I say. Do what you got to do behind closed doors, so when whatever pops off, if it pops off, you'll be ready to pop off. You know what I'm saying? And we got to train the way other people train. And you know, that's for my people. That's what we got to do. We just got to be ready. And you know, we just we gotta live on a certain level. And when the time comes, it's the time. It is what it is. Hopefully we don't have to get there, but if we do, I'm ready. Holla at me. If you need to get ready, holla at me. You know. So that's that.
Thank you for sharing. Gene, I appreciate you so much for taking the time to speak with me tonight. Is there anything else that you want to add or promote?
I see my man on here, Kasunga, Giscombe, my man from college. That's my fam. What's up, bro? I just shout out my people. My man Will is in here. What's up, Will from college? Will Hardy. All my people. That's all. Just the people that really rock with me and always rock with me. I got love for you. You know who you are. You know, because if I start naming, you know. But I got shout out my man Rana out in Toronto, RC. That's my main man. I got to shout him out because he, you know, everybody that rock with Rana, they know. And RC was no joke as an MC too, because he put some things out back in the day with him and Jake. Jake won, so I said holla at Jake. Lynn Funk, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate you, bro. I saw him in here earlier say he won his 45 back. That's another story. Real quick, Lynn, yeah, Lynn in the 90s, Lynn ended up needing to, I don't know, he wanted some equipment, and I guess he was just like kind of over it. He wanted to get rid of his record collection, so he traded me his record collection for an EPS 16 plus. Okay. And I think I may have sold him the mix board too. And nobody would believe it, but you know, anybody that know Lynn know he had some of the illest, craziest records ever. Mm-hmm. So he traded me a lot of them 45s and albums for that that piece of equipment. So that was crazy. But yeah, I'm shout out to Lynn, shout out to Jeff, Scratch, all my playlist family, and you know, my kid Naomi. I always shout out Naomi. You know, I love my daughter with everything I got, and her brothers and her mom. You know, and then you know, I also say for you know, get well, hopefully soon, to my man Biz. Mm-hmm. Biz Markey. You know, he was in the hospital. Yeah. And then, you know, rest in peace to Malik B from the Roots. My man Ninth, his older brother passed away the last week or so. His big brother Charles. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Charles. A lot of people that know him well call him Pumpkin. So Pumpkin, you know, rest in peace. And yeah. But yeah, definitely, you know, my prayers go out to the Roots and their family, you know, Quest and my man Spawn, who was very, very tight with Malik B from Philly. He was on the tour with us also. Great guy. Yeah, Spawn and my main man Kilo. Kilo hooked me up with Malik because we didn't touch on the Mobile Mondays parties that night in New York where they played, you know, the 45s exclusive. I've done a party there, a birthday party over the years. When I turned 40, I did my first one, and then, you know, and then some years after. We ain't gonna go to how many years, you know, for obvious reasons. But yeah. I've done a few parties there, but this last one I did, the first one, you know, Rich and Kid Capri, Spinner, Just Blaze, they all rock 45s, but then I had some other ones over the years, and I started doing a beat showcase where Scratch and Easy Mo B, and you know, Mo B brought his SP and played original disc. He played the Flavor in Your Ear disc that just turned the party out. So, you know, we've been doing this for this past year, I did one and I got live performances. So some of the guys that I got to do play original samples that they use for a lot of the songs that we all love. So Beat Miners, Ninth, Jake One. Jake came from Seattle.
Wow.
Who else? Easy Moby again, Static. So a surprise, you know, I didn't let nobody know, my man Kilo from the Roots, Kilo came and he played Clones live. But he hooked it up, so he brought Malik, B, and Mars. Well, Mars has the first verse on Clones, and Mars rocked, and then Malik rocked and did his verse, and you know, if it wasn't for Kilo, that wouldn't have happened. And Malik was the coolest guy, the nicest guy, the nicest spirit. Spinner was there. Spinner rocked that night. It was just amazing. Kev Brown came. He did a little set. I had him rock. It was just amazing. Then Finesse played his Motown remixes. Like let everybody hear. He had the test presses for the 45s. So he played it that night. So it was just unbelievable night. And just talking to Malik, and you know, everything just was just perfect. And you know, just talking to him, talking about getting together this summer, maybe linking up, you know, in Philly and maybe at the retreat. Maybe he would come through playlists. Just talking about all that, you know, him recording new music, and then this happening. You know, it's just, you know, it's one of them times. So definitely shout out to Kilo for bringing them through and you know, just being a A1 dude. And yeah, so that's it. That's it.
Thank you so much, Gene. I hope you have a great night, and I hopefully will talk to you soon.
For sure. Thank you. This is the dopest interview I've done. So you on point. Everybody that's still in here, please follow her if you don't follow her, because she is beyond on point. And if any of these guys, you need to get an interview done the right way.
Oh yeah, the no launch one. This is the whole point. I've been interviewing people for 10 years or so. I've never done the live thing before, but the whole point of me doing this is to give people a platform to just talk about what they want to talk about.
It's a lot of people in here that the world needs to hear their stories. I got a lot of dope friends.
Yeah, I don't even care if they're like a big name or
lawyers that are music business lawyers, artists. I got some of the dopest artists, visual artists that's in here. My man Rob Zilla from DC, he's unreal. He do stuff for the NBA, you know, and then all these producers in here. Just link with me.
If you want to do an interview.
And link with me. I'll link you to them.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you though. And thanks everybody that tuned in. Appreciate y'all.
I hope you have a fantastic night. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Peace all.